there, it's Stu and Lisa from the Stupendous Marriage Podcast. So this week, Lisa and I were having this conversation in the car. I get in the car and I change the channel. She's like, I like listening to Christian music. And I'm like, I like listening to pop music. And she says to me, why? Why don't you listen to Christian music? I'm like, well, I'm different than you. We're just different people. I'm a top 40 guy. I did a lot of top 40 radio. Mm-hmm. Yes, I worked in Christian radio. Absolutely.
Right.
But I just prefer to go to top 40 music. She's like, well, we're just different in that way. And I was like, well, yeah, we're different completely. We're husband and wife. We're man and woman. We really wanted to talk about that, thinking about how husbands and wives are just different, period.
Well, and the context of the conversation also had to do with the previous conversation of how we have grown in the Lord. And Stu has done XYZ to grow and mature in the Lord. And I've done ABC, and I'm not wrong and he's not right and he's not wrong and I'm not right. We both just learn and grow differently. And when he changed the radio station, I just was like, okay, why don't you want to listen to worship music? I'm just curious. Like, I was mostly curious from our previous conversation of like, yes, we learn so much differently. How do you learn, or why do you not look to that as a way? Because for me, listening to the Christian radio, listening to the Christian music, being able to worship and hear the words, it just touches me. It just allows me to connect with the Lord more. And it encourages me oftentimes when I'm in the car, especially by myself, and I can sing along and I can really engage in worship. And for you, you have never done that. And so it was so interesting to me. It's like, well, why don't you do what I do? And in turn, it came up like, wow, we really are so different as individuals, not even just gender, men and women, but we're so different in how the Lord talks to us and connects with us. Because like, you journal like crazy. I can't journal to save my life. I hate writing, So it's like understanding and not getting mad at each other and not frustrated with each other because we don't do things the same way.
It comes down to preferences, I think. We're wired. We have different experiences in our life. We have different upbringings. We have friends and books and experiences and all these things that wire us in different ways. So we begin to prefer certain things in our life, right? So I started in top 40 radio because I recorded a commercial when I was a kid. I thought the radio station was really cool. I always listened to the top 40 radio station. I won lots of music from the top 40 radio station when I was a kid, all the cassettes. Anybody remember those?
Yeah.
And so a top 40 was always just part of my life. It's a preference, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily good, right? A lot of the messages of top 40 music are not great, but that just happens to be my preference. Now, Lisa, when she came to the Lord, completely changed, went towards Christian worship music. And it's not like I don't like that. It's just not my preference. And I think that each person has filters and things that they have learned in their life, preferences that aren't the be all end all, but things that you prefer,
right,
that the other doesn't necessarily prefer.
And for the record, I like top 40 radio, but when we're talking about top 40 radio, really, and music, for the record, we're really talking 80s. 80s and 90s top 40. Like, I mean, yes, you do listen to a smidge of today's top 40, but for the most part, we're not listening to the current top 40 stuff.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that music too, for sure. But it actually has a different meaning for me. I enjoy, like today, I was out with our son and we had the top off the Jeep and I was cranking music at every stop sign or stoplight. And he was like, Mom, really? And I'm like, but this is great. This is the kind of music I want to listen to in a car with the convertible, right? And so music, it's how we interpret music, how our body even reacts to music, how our mind reacts to music is so different. And there's no right or wrong, just preferences. It's also personality, upbringing. So knowing that and giving your spouse grace because they're different than you can be really good. I think for me this week, that conversation came up and I'd never in 23 years said to you, why don't you listen to Christian radio? Right. And so knowing that actually now, not that I even realized I wasn't resenting you for it, but just like, why won't he listen to Christian radio? Now I understand a little bit more why you don't.
We might be talking about Christian radio in this conversation, but it's bigger than that.
Right.
It's all things in our lives. I have a preference for lining up the dishes in the dishwasher a certain way. And Lisa's like, what are you doing?
No, I have the preference.
This is wrong. So I have a different preference, right? And they still get washed and they still get dried.
Oh.
But guess what? I fold the towels a little bit differently. And she doesn't like the way I fold them. But guess what? It's just preferences. And what hill are you going to die on? Is this worth an
Hopefully
argument?
none.
Is this worth being frustrated about? I mean, are the dishes getting done? Are the towels being folded? Hey, we're listening to great music in the car, but is this worth fighting about?
Yeah.
Are you listening to the other person's heart? I heard Lisa's heart and went, oh, I really understand why she wants to listen to Christian radio so much, and go, oh, I get that. I won't do that in her car. I'll do it in my truck. You know, it's weird for a guy, you know, in a truck listening to top 40 music, but who cares? We're folding the towels differently. Why is this preference this way? Finding out about the other person, your curiosity. Why do you do things the way you do? Because this person beside us is uniquely interesting, and they are different than us, and they have more value than just who they are. It's like, well, why do you do that? Be curious instead of frustrated. I think that would solve a lot of my issue with you is, well, oh, I wonder why you do things like you do.
Right.
And well, tell me about that and explain to me, describe, and that's another little tool that I just threw in there. Bring Ted into your relationship. Tell me about, explain why, and describe the things. If you ask those questions, you can get into better conversations and learn more about each other.
How we started even thinking about this before the music conversation, I was talking about how he's grown in the Lord by doing certain things, by journaling, by reading the Bible, by going to different support groups and men's groups and being in these relationships. And, you know, that has really, he's really grown. I'm very proud of you for how much work you have done just to be a better version of yourself, which is very cool. And sometimes, especially in the moments of not agreeing,
frustration,
things come up. And one of the things that came up in a discussion was, why don't I do all those things? Why am I not in a support group? Why am I not reading these books? Why am I not taking the steps to work through stuff? In the heated discussion, I said, well, I'm not you. Now, I have grown a lot and matured a lot in the Lord doing the things that I do. Because you don't do the things I do, like listen to worship music. Like I'm constantly praying. I'm constantly talking to the Lord. We're just different people. It was really cool because I think we both calmed down from our heated discussion. We both realized that like we are different people and the Lord can draw us closer to him in different ways. And that doesn't mean your way is better than my way or my way is better than your way.
It's learning from one another.
Yeah.
Because in my support groups and things along those lines that I've been part of, men's discipleship and your female relationships that you have, your prayer teams, the groups that you're part of, we bring our experiences to our marriage and we talk about those things. Yeah, I've worked the 12 steps. Well, I mean, maybe an inventory of our life is a good thing to do between us. And Lisa goes, oh yeah, maybe that is something I can do. Yeah. It's a piece. It's not the whole thing.
Right.
Oh, you prayed with your friends. You've called 5 people and you've talked to, oh, maybe I should do that. Really.
Right.
I know to do that through some of the work that I have done, but I haven't done that today. Oh yeah, I really should do that for myself right now. Seeing the growth, seeing the wisdom from the other person and not dismissing it flat out and saying, no, you have to do it my way or it's wrong. Right. And that's where I was coming from. I think that was my heart. And I'll probably still get it wrong in the future, unfortunately. But for today, we're a lot better.
Well, and the fact that it was able to then grow into the conversation about music, and instead of like judging you because you don't listen to Christian music, I literally was just like, hey, let me ask you, why we're talking about that this week, why we're talking about how we're so different, why don't you listen to Christian music when you're in the car? You weren't offended by that question.
Right.
You were like, oh, well, let me tell you, this is my point of view. And it was like, oh gosh, yeah, that makes complete sense. It was just a great way and a great learning lesson for you that we thought we would share with you today.
We would love to hear from you. stupendousmarriage.com/voicemail. You can send us your voicemail. We would love to answer your question if you've got one, or just say hey to us on your favorite podcast player or on YouTube now since we're doing videos. This is crazy.
I'm so proud, honey.
We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Psst. If you want to see the outtakes from our video, make sure you hop over to YouTube and look for Stupendous Marriage. Bye.